Alright guys, it's Chris, and welcome back to VHP Engines. Historic moment here, guys. I've mentioned them a couple times and stuff, in passing because of past dealings or whatnot. This is the first time that I've actually focused on a topic from these dudes that it's in a positive light and well-deserved. So, I got a message this morning on Snapchat that didn't answer, and like I've said before, sometimes you don't get answers in DMs, you get answers in a video response. Then as the day was going, and I was thinking what I was going to talk about, the thought of the Boostedboiz came to mind because the last time I heard anything about it was through Kenny, when the whole situation got fixed out there, and Kenny was talking about 700 horsepower stock block. I think at the time, I don't know where it's at now because this was months ago. It was a piston to rod build the last time I remember hearing. Now, Boostedboiz, like myself, has hundreds of fucking videos, and I don't want to search. I'm being lazy. Yes, I'm being lazy, but like I've told you, my days are full. So it's not something I want to search for. But I figured I could talk about it and send you in that direction, and you can search out for the details. But at least I can give you somewhat of a heads up on what's going on over there, if by some chance you haven't already found out. Now, there's a very good chance that if you're coming to a good old Chris talk about H22 shit, that you already know about what they're doing, and that's fine. I understand they got hundreds of thousands of views on shit that they're actually out there doing. Me, guys, I'm tapping out with the H22 stuff. I'm not doing it. I'm building engines for people as they come. Most guys take forever on their turnaround times. To get a project finished takes forever on the turnaround times. I'm not doing what I did a couple years ago and rebuilding stock blocks for cheap to try and build a clientele and trust. I'm gonna wait. I already know that I can do what I can do. I know that I have the ability to do this shit. I'm not rushing to prove anything, and I'm not gonna lowball myself and lose out on money trying to build confidence, because all that does is it brings more cheap people, because you sell cheap in the beginning, and that's all the people come for you for, is for cheap builds, and then that's all they're gonna want, and it's gonna be a fight later to change it when I go more mainstream with it, and eventually I will. So I'm just not doing that, and these guys are way ahead of me out there putting work down. They're out there on the track. So H22 stuff, man. You guys want to talk H22 stuff? You want to know H22 stuff? Go watch the Boostedboiz. 1000 horsepower H22. I don't know where the build stands at right now. I am curious, but don't have the time to search through the videos right now. I guess I could talk to Kenny. I would imagine that Kenny would probably get back to me faster than if I talked to Kyle. I have spoke to Kyle, but it was a while ago, and this video just dropped today, so I would imagine that their DMs are going to be, or Kyle's DMs are going to be fucking flooded. So if by the time I hear from him, it's going to be too late for me to do this. When I have to do these things in the moment. When I talk about something, it's something I see, the ideas start ticking and flowing, and it happened to be perfect timing. Like I said, I was going to talk about the Boostedboiz anyway with their 700 horsepower thing. I didn't realize the power got updated so much, and apparently that was like a month ago. So scrolling through my Instagram, I happened to see somebody talking about it, and I saw the link for the video, and I was like, oh, well, that's perfect timing. I was going to mention them anyway. So, but now that I've seen the video and I watched it, it just as I'm watching it, I'm realizing it. Well, this is changing. This is what I'm going to talk about. Is going to change a little bit. So I was going to kind of rehash what I've already said about the H22, and I've already said what I've said, and I'm standing by what I've already said. So if you want to know my opinion on it, you go through the H22 playlist, you watch the videos I've already filmed in the H22 playlist. There's your answer. There's nothing new for me to add to it. I'm probably not going to add anything to it anymore. Okay, so I'm lying right now, because there's one thing I can say that I can add. People question me on the G23, the most. They come back about that the most. And the thing there, the question is reliability. Now, my big plus on the or the G22 or G23 is that you get around the FRM sleeve problem. That's the biggest problem with the H22, and that's the easy cure for it. And it's a cheap cure because those blocks can be found, or when you find those blocks, they're not expensive. All right. As far as reliability goes, here's my take on that. I remember 10, 15 years ago when people were talking about the LSV and the B20V. There are still people shelling out fuck tons of money for B16s and GSRs because they prefer, real VTEC engines, real VTEC engines. Me, that's not a concern, never has been. And definitely not nowadays when LSVs and B20Vs has been like the majority of what I've built. All right, so, people's problem back then was the reliability issue. Well, I think people were just was doing it wrong. I don't really think that there's going to be a big reliability issue there. So as far as G23 goes, if you're worried about reliability, if it's something you can feel like you can tackle, then do it. If it's not something you're sketchy on, then don't do it. That's just my opinion. Do whatever you want to do. I'm not here to reassure you saying it's gonna be perfect, it's gonna be fine. I'm not doing that. Just, like I said the other day in my live stream, I don't feel like I'm a teacher. I never felt like a guru. This is just me talking about things I've already done or things that I've seen other people do that I trust. As far as I go for Kyle and what he's doing over with his group on YouTube, I'm not gonna question them anymore. Even without me just digging into what they do on a regular basis, Kenny vouches for him, and if Kenny vouches for him, it's 100% good in my book, man. Because I've got no reason to doubt him, and if he's backing him, then I will as well. No problem there. So I guess what I really want to talk about, is the fucking just drag racing, because you see that meme all the time, like drag racing is for fast cars, and circuit racing is for fast drivers and whatnot. It's such shit, man. It's such horse shit. Drag racing is a lot harder than people think. It's hard enough that where I haven't done it in fucking forever, and I don't really have any plans to go back to the track. For me, the joys of fast cars and fast engines or powerful engines is not, what putting down the quarter mile of the track. For me, it's just seeing the power on the dyno and just, getting the engine out there running for somebody who's happy with that and happy with his results. I don't care. The only reason why I'm stressing the Integra the way I am is because it was a gift. That the parts I have in that engine were a gift, and I haven't got out there. But see, build engines all day, no problem. Troubleshoot cars, big problem. It might wind up being an easy fix, but look how long it's taking me to get to it, just because of the fact that I don't feeling like going out there and fuck with it. Taking the swap and put it in the car, swapping out some bad parts, whatever, no problem. Troubleshooting, fucking hate it. And then because of the fact that I don't have friends and I don't have very many people I trust to work on the car, I'm fucking assed out. I got one guy that I really, really trust, but he's busy all the time, even busier than I am, or probably, yeah, I'd say busier than I am, because he doesn't really clock in. He's like an on-call type deal, and he probably has a good chance of running it, getting it run if I could ever get his ass over here. So my best bet right now is, to wait and deal with the fucking RSX, because at least I know the RSX doesn't have any bugs. So at least when I swap that out, and it'll be immediate when it happens, that I shouldn't run into any problems. Fucking knock on wood. Let me find some wood to knock on. Oh, man. And, 3 weeks out from New Hampshire, and all I want to do is have the damn thing turn on and idle. I don't give a shit if I can't get it fucking tuned right now. That's not even the problem for me. Just getting it turned on. But whatever. Crank no start. Here we still are. But I'm getting sidetracked away from myself again. Just watch the video, man. Like, watching Humble Performance's videos, like when the World Cup documentary thing that they made, watching their regular track videos when they go out, and just listen to Alex talk, when they're trying to do what they can to dial a car in perfectly right on the track to get it to run what they need it to run, the adjustments that need to be made. The car can be 100% sound and solid, but there's still things that you have to be adjusted, like the tune itself adjusted, the fucking tire pressure, it's crazy the details that go into, especially like when you're getting really fast. The faster the car gets, the more you have to do to get it just right, to get it those perfect numbers, and it's a crazy fucking thing. And then of course the driver themselves, and the fact that this Kyle is somebody who's got a lot of seat time and was still, dealing with the issues they were dealing with, which weren't major ones, but just figuring out the little problems to the puzzle to get it to be exactly where they needed it to be. And it was close. They were mad close to 9s. And when they finally figured out all the things they needed to fix on the car, which was just a couple of passes, they were consistent low 10s, like very consistent low 10s for their back-to-back runs. So for the people out there talking shit, thinking, it's not hard to drag race. That's just because it's a bunch of guys that are on the street doing roll racing, And I'm not against roll racing, because roll racing is elementary as fuck. I love it. And even that presents its own fucking problems, but they're nowhere near as hard as it is to dealing with, being on a fucking track. So when people talk about drag racing and like to rip on it, I think these are just guys that are out there roll racing on the fucking highway, or doing 30-mile-an-hour rolls on the side streets or whatnot, man. There's a lot of shit that goes into it, and eventually, I feel pretty confident that eventually I'll have a point where I have guys that I can say that are partners that I can work with, and hopefully VHP Engines will be enough of a business where I can bring on people that can help me deal with the bullshit like the troubleshooting and engine swapping. What I would like, if you see like a lot of the big time shops, a lot of the times the guy who started it isn't really as much hands on with certain shit. They fall into their niche and what they like to do, and they stay there, and then everybody else does that shit that they don't like to do necessarily. And that's what I want to get. I want to get to the point where I'm just engines. I want to just be building engines. I don't really want to do anything else. I don't even really want to do swaps. I want to have somebody do all that basic shit. And the swaps are basic enough where it doesn't take much, to learn how to do it. I mean, I taught myself, shit, not a problem. I mean, fucking taught myself how to do the engines and shit too, and get back to that fucking troubleshooting. So hopefully what it'll be is I'll be able to crank out the engines and, hand it off to somebody else to finish putting it in a fucking car. And eventually that'll be the same thing for drag racing. And I'd like to have a shop car that goes to the track and runs good numbers. I don't think I'll be the guy doing it. Well, am I saying I'll never drag race? Of course not. I'll run, but if I want somebody to make the good times, I'll worry about somebody else who's way more skilled than I am that can do that shit. So thankfully this isn't really a long ranty one. I'm gonna wrap it up. So drag racing isn't as easy as you think. There's a lot more to it. If you don't believe me, take your ass to a fucking track yourself and find out. And I bet you'll run a lot shittier times than you think you're gonna run. Also, H22 stuff, man. I'm not gonna touch on it anymore. I think if you really want to get to the advanced side of the H22, because I think I covered it up to about 500 horsepower. And to be realistic, most of you guys watching me on my channel, that's all you're ever gonna really make. I'm not saying that as a bad thing to put you down, because 500 horsepower is still very mad respectable. It is. I think if that H22 was in a different chassis, they would definitely be banging out single digits, no problem. The fact that they kept it in a 4th-gen Prelude, making 2,600 pounds with driver in the car, is there's a reason why a lot of people run the goddamn EG hatch. It's not just weight. There's more to it than that. So it's really impressive, and and the mile per hour, 153 miles an hour, man, it's crazy. And the fact that they're doing this shit at high ass elevation. Fucking Colorado, 8,000 feet above sea level doing this. It's really impressive. So shout out to Kyle and them. That's it's great what they're doing. And I think if you really want to get into advanced H22 talk, go watch their shit. Dig through what follow what they've done with their build. It's impressive. And as far as me, go to the damn H22 playlist and watch there. I've got nothing else to add to it. I'm tapped out. So social media links are in the description below if you want to find me there, or go to the main page, check it out there. If you want to find specific topics on VHP engines, I've made it pretty fucking easy. Everything's sorted into playlists. The only videos that aren't on specific playlists are just me when I'm bullshit talking. So if you can't figure out how to find a playlist, you don't know what a playlist is in 2019, if you don't know how to use a search bar, then you're not somebody I want to deal with talking to. So I'm just gonna ignore you. And thanks for watching, and peace.